Sahanavavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravahai Tejasvinavahitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Last chapter concluded with this profound idea that one who has overcome this idea of doing this, doing that, achieving this, achieving that, and now to live like in the state of absolute non-doership, non-enjoyership is actually the real fulfillment in life. People think fulfillment is when you achieve something in life, you feel fulfilled. I've achieved some name or position or power or wealth or relations. Then we feel we have found some fulfillment. The other way of looking at life is when we don't achieve any of these things, then we feel unfulfilled. Unfulfilled in our relations, our pursuits, our ambitions, our works. In so many ways, we feel incomplete and unfulfilled. But Janaka says that the one who has gone over and beyond this idea of doing, evameva kritam yena sakritartho, he becomes truly fulfilled. Without doing, he becomes fulfilled. And then he says, the one whose nature becomes like this, evameva swabhavaha. Swabhava means it is his natural disposition to be like that. If things happen, so be it. If things don't happen, so be it. It does not mean that he becomes inactive. He is no more the doer. He is no more the desirer of doing and enjoying. That's all is the difference. As somebody said, I read Ashtavakra, I feel, why should we do anything at all? After all, everything is to be treated as a magic show or a movie or a drama or a dream. Nothing solid is going to stay at the end of it all. It's all going to be vaporizing it. So what's the point? But that's not the disposition of a jnani. That's the disposition of the ajnani who says, I do not want to engage in the world, I do not want to act, I do not want to work, I do not want to contribute, because anyway at the end of it all, this is not going to matter. Jnani nevertheless, knowing that all this is not going to matter at the end, yet engages and does what comes his way. A magician who knows this is a magic show, but he is born to be a magician, that's what he can do. So he does his magic and goes about doing whatever comes out of it. So his approach to life is very different. The difference between a worldly and a spiritual person is the change of attitude, the difference of attitude, that's all it is. Everything else may be the same, but the attitude with which they look at things, they do their work, or they even think or speak, is totally different. They absolutely feel no doership and enjoyership, and that's why they are fulfilled. Because doership will bring enjoyership. Good enjoyment or bad enjoyment, both will come from the kind of work done. So this whole idea of doing this, including doing rituals and doing pilgrimages and doing so many other sankalpas for so many things, that also is something that is to be abandoned at the end. As if it needs to be done, it will be done. That's about it. You don't become the initiator of it. You are sarvarambha parityagi. You are not the initiator of anything. What comes by virtue of your fate or your destiny or divine will, that is fine. Beyond that, we do not think. That is the nature of the ultimate jnani who is fulfilled and established, is the conclusion of the last chapter, which Janaka is telling, continuing to tell even in the 13th chapter. He continues to say, Janaka uvacha, akinchana bhavam swasthyam kaupi natvepi durlabham tyaga dane vihayasmat ahamase yatha sukham. Continues in similar thoughts, because this is just to help us deliberate on these ideas for a little longer time so that we are able to absorb some bit of it. So Janaka says, akinchana bhavam swasthyam. This akinchana means nothing exists, nothing matters, nothing touches me. I possess nothing, I own nothing, I belong to nobody, no place. That absolute akinchana bhavam. This akinchana is the idea of non possessiveness, which comes with non ego, non doership, non enjoyership, all those things. So, to become that and stay in your original state, swasthyam. Swasthya generally in common parlance means health. Are you in the state of swasthya? But the meaning of swasthya is much deeper. Swastha is the swasthya. Swa means self, stha means the one who stays in the self. So the one who is abiding in the self is truly healthy. Now imagine the definition of health. Even WHO is not recognizing the spiritual side of the health. At best, they go to the physical, mental, emotional, social well being of the people. But spiritual well being is what our scriptures define health to be. Swasthya. The one who is abiding in the self. Such a person is truly healthy. He has no vikaras, no problems, no anxiety, no depression, no excitement, therefore, no disease. This kind of state of akinchana state and the state of swasthya, the true health, which is by in abiding in the self, kaupinatvepi durlabham. It is difficult to attain even by those who are only wearing a loin cloth. It means those mendicants, renunciates, monks, and sadhus who think that they are spiritual because they are wearing only bare minimum clothing and living a very austere life, a difficult life. Even to them, this state is difficult to attain. As I said yesterday, it's very easy to make external changes. Go and shave off your head, or grow a beard, or wear a loin cloth, or wear ochre robes, or put on malas and put vibhuti or bhasma everywhere, live out of people's charity, or have no home. All these are seemingly difficult for a worldly person. This self is very difficult. He says, how can somebody live like that? But these people are capable of it. But have they attained this ultimate state of being established in the self despite having taken up so many austerities? Janaka says it is very rare, that even amongst those who are so called mendicants, renunciates, and monks, they are also not established in the self. And I had a good glimpse of it. When I had been to Rishikesh some years ago, all the sadhus and monks and mahatmas were invited for a lunch as a annadanam and then some clothes and all that, whatever. So many of them were sitting. But you feel the presence of a jnani. When you are in the presence of jnani, even if he does not speak a word, you can feel that aura, that energy. Walking amongst these many people there, which I did, I didn't feel it. Though for a common man who is a householder, suddenly somebody walks in with a ochre robe and mala and all that jata, juta and all that, they will get very, sometimes not just enamored by the whole thing. But these external changes does not guarantee that you can get established in the self. It may be the beginning of the process, but this is not the end of the process. So Janaka is telling that feeling of I possess nothing, even though he is the king of that place of Mithila and the father of 4 daughters and husband to wife and king to the subjects, so many things he is at that time. Yet he says, I don't feel that I possess any of these things. I am free from all these possessions and relations and whatever comes with it. And swasthya, I am completely established in the self. And this, I know, is a state which is rare to come by, even for those ascetics, monks who do not have to rule a kingdom, who do not have wife and children, who do not have subjects to look after. For them also, it is very difficult for them to even attain this state. Durlabham. Tyaga dane vihayasmat ahamase yatha sukham. What have I achieved? How I have achieved this? Tyaga, dana, all these different things that we have been told that this is the way you will attain the self. Do more tyaga, do more dana. I'm not saying from the point of view of the scriptures, yes, it is true. Tyage naike amritatvam manushu. From sacrifice alone we attain immortality. But sacrifice of what? Not the external sacrifices of clothes or giving away all your properties and wealth in charity and then tying a loincloth around your waist and then thinking that you will somehow attain the state of self. No, that doesn't. So he's basically here when he says tyaga and dana, he's talking about external activities of spiritual nature, which we call as spiritual nature. That we give up some of those luxuries of life or comforts and convenience in the name of sacrifice, tyaga, or dana as charity. But have we really given up the inner desires of such things? Have we given up complete attachment to such things, the mental association with such things? If we haven't done, then there is not much that is going to be achieved out of these external changes. This is the essence. So Janaka says, I have gone beyond all these ideas that only if I do this much tyaga externally will I attain this state, or when I do this much of charity externally, I will attain this state. That is not anymore with me. I have vihaya asmat. I have given up that idea. See, if everybody is supposed to attain God by charity, then those who give more money, they should attain God faster. Is that the way it works? It doesn't work that way. That's what he's saying. So the idea is that, are these external things going to take us close to our divinity? Running away from family, giving up work, not contributing, not participating, and also giving up clothing and roaming around naked or wearing a coping cloth. Is that going to make us get established in the self, is the question. May not be, may or may not. May only if inside also you have become empty, not just on the outside. May not if you have only done it on the outside and nothing happened on the inside. So it's not going to help. That's why I say you don't have to change anything over here. You just have to change your attitude towards life. You have to change your thinking, your disposition. That's all you have to change. What you wear is not my problem. What you eat is not my problem. What you do is not my problem. How you do is my problem. How you think is my problem. How you say and feel is the problem. That is the crux of the matter. But that is the difficult part. So people avoid that difficult thing, and easy ones they do and somehow want to satisfy themselves and somehow console themselves and feel good that I have done so many great things. I've been very spiritual. I've given up this, that this list is there. But are they really becoming established in the self by just doing these external changes? Not necessarily. So maybe Janaka, who was with rishis for so long, did so many yajna, yagas, dana, punya, all these years. I believe when this Ashtavakra Gita started, he was already doing a yajnam for 12 years continuously. So you can only imagine. 10 days if you do yajnam, you can imagine what it takes over here. 12 years continuously is doing yajnam. So how much money you would have spent, how much time, energy, resources, how many people you would have invited, how much work you would have done. Did that lead him to the realization of the self? No. What led him to the realization of the self? One word of wisdom from a Jnani. In his company, he changed. Like a magnet magnetizes a piece of iron, he got magnetized in the presence of Ashtavakra. So this is what is this tyaga, dana. It doesn't mean that you stop doing all these things. As long as you're doing it the right attitude, is fine. Not for show off. As the man who gives a fan to the temple, and then when the baby is crying in heat, the mother says, please somebody switch on the fan because the baby is feeling heat. And somebody goes to switch it on, and this donor man jumps, says, don't switch it on because my name is written on the fan. If it starts rotating, nobody can read my name. Such tyaga, will it lead to moksha? Such dana, will it lead to moksha? I've seen people, their donation will be this much, the name boards will be so big. So this tyaga dana, which is done with this external desires for appreciation, recognition, accolades, rewards, awards, this tyaga dana doesn't help us establish in the self. So that is what he's saying. So far I was thinking that the quantum of my dana or the size of magnitude of my tyaga will help me qualify for this realization. But now I realize it is not so. So tyaga dane vihaya, I have given up. Asmat ahamase, now I am established, I am in this state of swasthyam and yatha sukham. And therefore I am happy. I am in peace. I am in equanimity. I am well established. I thought I will also draw your attention to this word swasthya, which is, as I said, swa and stha. Swa means self, stha means the one who stays in the self. Grihastha, the one who is staying in the house is grihastha. Vanaprastha, the one who is staying in the forest is vanaprastha. Like that, swasthya, the one who is staying in the self. It means he's in touch with his divinity, he is established there. Our Ayurveda defines health in a very beautiful shloka. It comes from Sushruta Samhita. Sushruta was one of those pioneers in medicine from India, who defined the principles of Ayurveda and how we have to treat the body and how body and the five elements are connected. Therefore, we must take care of these five elements within our body and whatever is originated from them to make our body healthy. But he did not just talk about sickness and cure of the body. He talked about the mind and the senses. He did not just focus on the physicality of the ailment, but he saw the underlying other causes, what we call as psychosomatic diseases today. Our mind is the beginning of all the issues. And the mind imagines something, that's it. After that, you cannot do anything about it. Like those story of those girls I told of New York who were painters. And one of them thought, if the last leaf falls, I am going to die. It's a O. Henry story. That the last leaf, it's called. I'm going to die. She had somehow developed that. She had pneumonia and she thought she's going to die the day the last leaf from the tree outside my window falls. It was cold winter season and very, very breezy. All leaves one by one started falling because it's winter season. But one leaf never fell. It stayed. And that gave her hope and she recovered from her illness and became normal. But then she realized there was an old man, a painter, who used to live downstairs. He passed away. And he passed away because he came to know about this lady, that she is so attached to that leaf that if all the leaves fall, she thinks she is going to die. So that night he stayed up in the rain, in the cold, and painted a leaf on the wall. And that leaf she thought is a real leaf. And next morning when she woke up and saw that even after a stormy night, the leaf is still there, she believed that she's not going to die. And so she didn't die. But the man died of pneumonia because he caught cold in the night. He was an old man. But that was his masterpiece. That's how the story ends, the O. Henry story. Idea is that many things, many times it's mental for us. Physical body reflects our mental makeup. So happy demeanor, happy mind, happy disposition is very important in life. So what is the definition of health in our Ayurveda? It says, samadosha, samagnischa, samadhatu, malakriyaha, prasannatmendriya manah, swastha ityabhidhiyate. Pick this up because recently when we opened the medical college, only I got to know about this definition. This book and its contents were spoken before the medical college opening. So this sloka doesn't exist in the book. What does it say? Samadosha. We are told to have three kinds of dosha or faults. What are these? One is vata, pitta and kapha, they call in Ayurvedic term. Vata means excess air in the body. Because we are made of five elements, right? Air, water, earth, sky, space. Excess water is vata, which causes swelling and which causes a lot of gastric troubles and other things. So excess air. Second is pitta, excess fire, heat in the body, temperature. A lot of people suffer through tremendous heat in the body. That is the pitta. And third is kapha. Kapha is excess water in the body. So these three elements, when they are not in balance, it causes a lot of trouble in our body. The water content of the body and how it is processed. The fire content, that is the heat and temperature in the body, it means all the metabolic activities. And the air content in the body, the air that we breathe and how that oxygen circulates within the body. All three are reasons why we fall sick if they are not in proper balance. So the moment you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, he'll catch hold of your wrist, he'll check the nadi, and somehow they know by the pulse that they touch and feel which one of these is in imbalance. And then they will say, we'll have to correct this imbalance. Means you cannot eat food that cause more gas to you because you are having excessive gas, bloating and other issues. Then similarly, if there is no proper digestion, you have constipation and other issues. So they will tell you these kind of foods you have to avoid. So our original medicine system was not a medicine-based system. It was food-based system. They used to give some medicine, of course, some kind of extracts from plants which helped us to improve the situation. But largely they gave us advice only on our diet. Ahara and Patya it is called. Ahara is the diet part of it, Patya is the medicine part of it. So they did give us some medicines, but more importantly, they gave us ahara advice, dietary advice, nutrition advice. Can you believe in modern medicine like MBBS, there is no subject called nutrition? There is no advice taught also to the students of medicine how to advise patients about how to change their diet and improve their health. It is not there at all. Whereas Ayurveda was based only on diet. The entire thing was inside out. Our whole thing is outside Western medicine. Ayurveda found what is going on inside you. And they didn't stop at that. These three faults of water, air and fire, that is temperature in you, could be one way. What are the other things? Sama Agnihi. Agni means that digestive fire in you. That also has to be good. If fire of digestion is burning, then food gets inside, it turns into energy. Otherwise, it remains undigested and becomes poison in your body. When I was small, my grandmother used to say, "Don't have bath soon after food." So I used to ask why. She said, "Anta vishamaipotundi," she used to say. It will become poison, all that you've eaten. Grandmother and your funny theories. How can food become poison? I have not eaten poison, I have eaten food. She would say, "No, it will turn into poison." She did not know the logic behind it. She won't explain. But she said, no, this is not good. At least wait for 20-30 minutes before you go for bath. Don't go for bath immediately. But later, when you study biology and a little bit of Ayurveda, you realize what happens when you eat food. All your energy is now focused, all the oxygen is going towards your stomach to digest the food, right? Because all the temperature is needed in the stomach to break the food down and further digest it. All the digestive juices have to be secreted, and all this has to happen in a quick time. If it doesn't happen at that right time, it will lead to other issues, constipation and things, and even food poisoning, because it is undigested food. So when you do not do anything after eating food, you have to be quiet for some time. You should not be doing too many things, because all your body's oxygen and energy is going towards your stomach to make the digestion happen. It is the load that the body is carrying right now. Now, when you have bath, what happens? The temperature gets redistributed across your peripherals, like your skin. You take a hot water bath or cold water bath, whichever way. Your skin is now activated. So your circulation, blood circulation is now moving towards your skin. That is why we need to have bath, because it improves the blood circulation around the whole body. Your skin becomes better. It's important for skin to grow and deal with diseases. So if you have bath soon after food, the energy that is needed, the oxygen and circulation that is needed for your stomach is now getting redistributed or deviated to your skin and the muscles and everything else that benefits from the bath. So food remains undigested then. And then that undigested food creates trouble, because it has to digest in certain time. Krishna says very clearly, nothing should be eaten beyond the yam. Yam is a 3-hour period. Because if crosses that, then it becomes tamasic food. Within the 3 hours of cooking, one should eat the food. That is a sattvic food. He has defined that. So he here is very clear. Our Ayurveda is very clear that Agni, the stomach's fire, which to digest, what you call Jatara Agni. Wow, we chant, no? Brahmarpadam Brahmaved. That is after that, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. Vaishwanara means fire. Another name for fire is Vaishwanara. Vaishwa means that which is everywhere. In the Nara, when it is digestive fire. So Krishna says, I am the digestive fire, Vaishwanara. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita. I am in their bodies, in all pranis, not just humans, birds, bees, animals, insects. I am only that fire of digestion. Whatever Chaturvidham, food that we eat, 4 kinds, he digests. So he is the energy. So then digestive fires are not strong. We are not able to digest food. That leads to diseases. Undigested food is poison. That's what my grandmother meant. And I kept that in mind. So here also, generally I don't have food unless we have had bath. But suppose we are elsewhere, we have to eat, and then we have to get ready for a program or something. Then also we need to maintain the gap till the food. Generally carbs take 2 to 3 hours to get digested. Very complex carbs will take 5 to 6 hours. Animal products take even longer because they're very complex. Vegetables will take probably maximum an hour. Fruits take 20 to 30 minutes. That's about it. So you have to accordingly plan your bath. Suppose you have eaten fruits, 15-20 minutes later if you go for bath, no problem. If you have eaten simple carbs, at least 2 to 3 hours you have to give gap. Or vegetables you've eaten at least 1 hour, 2 to 3 hours for normal carbs and proteins. Proteins which are highly complex and carbs which are highly complex, including animal products, 6 hours. That's what it takes for us, our food to completely go out of the stomach and get absorbed in the intestines. Till then you should not have bath. So there are rules like that. That is why first thing we wake up and have bath. Activate all our body, our cells, our muscles, our nerves, our circulation. Because in the night, body has cooled down. It has slowed down everything. So if you eat too late in the night and then sleep, body's natural tendency is to cool down. It is shutting down the system for rest. But people eat at 10:30, 11, 12 in the night. And then they sleep off. And the body is suffering because it wants to rest. It does not want to work. Circadian rhythm, the sun and the body and the metabolism are connected. But when you eat in the dark, that is night time after sunset, and eat too late into the night, and then you sleep off after that, all these lifestyle diseases are coming from there. All these indigestion that people are suffering, all the sleeplessness, all the other lifestyle related diabetes and cancers and other things, it's all because of not having food correctly. If you correct having food, everything else will get resolved on its own. So Ayurveda recognized, because Annam is the body. It says very clearly, our Upanishads say, right? Annat Purushaha. We are made of food. So if we, what is our constituent element? Food. If it's not correct, then how can we be correct? So it says correct your food and correct your eating habits. This ultra processed foods, this highly sugary drinks, these aerated drinks, and animal meat which is highly processed, all these are very, very harmful for the body. No, where we were eating all this, that time life was different. You were working also so hard that time. And our hunters were not like morning breakfast, then lunch, then three animals they'll keenly eat. No. They'll eat once in a week, like lions eat once in a week, that's it. Once they've eaten for a whole week, they don't eat at all because they don't feel hungry, that is, energy is enough. They don't keep hunting every day. That's not their job. They eat only when they're hungry. But we eat nevertheless, whether we are hungry or not, because we have got used to eating and love food being available so easily. We keep eating without being hungry, and that is leading to all these diabetes. We see so many patients, thousands of them, diabetes patients. Where is this diabetes coming from? Ultra processed food, refined carbs, and sedentary lifestyle. They're farmers only, but they're no more farming. They're just eating. Earlier they were farmers, they'll eat a mouthful of rice, they'll digest it because the body is working hard. Nowadays nobody works hard, sits in the chair. So that has become a huge issue. But nevertheless, we are desirous of eating, satisfying the tongue. But we are not willing to spend that energy. So it's all accumulating and leading to a lot of issues. That's the biggest. Obesity and with related diseases in the world are increasing every day. Many countries who presented what they say, we have another kind of malnutrition issue. We have obesity in our countries. It's not lack of food, but that is the issue. So our idea is that everything is fast, instant, processed, quick. We don't have time to bring the vegetable from the market, cut, clean, cook, then eat. This is why it's happening. Plus we keep eating all the time unnecessarily also. So keeping that in mind, that your digestive fire should be good. We also have rules how much you should eat, how many times. I tell below 30 or 25, eat 4 times, no problem. Because your body is growing, you can digest, you can use it for your studies, sports. 25 to 50, eat 3 times maximum. Because you still need energy, you are active, you are a grahastha, you are doing the jobs, this, that, so you need some energy. 50 to 75 years, eat only 2 times, morning and evening. Keep a gap of 7 to 8 hours. Because your body's digestive fires are becoming dull now. Age is catching up. You need lesser food, lesser activity. So 2 times you eat between 50 and 75 years. And keep a gap of 7 to 8 hours. It means if you eat in the morning, then eat only in the evening. And not late in the night, because after night, as I said, food needs all the energy, but body needs to rest. So it is like contradictory, it will ruin the body. And then when you are above 75, just eat once. When the sun is up, eat then, midday. That's the best, because your digestive fibers are already weak. You cannot digest. You need at least 12 to 14 hours to go through the process of digestion in the afternoon or noon. Don't eat rest of the. And when you are 100, you won't need to eat, I'm sure. There's nothing there. So the idea is that naturally now imagine how brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa is a withdrawal mechanism. And what is the first most attractive thing for us? Ahara. We all want to eat. So if you learn to withdraw from food, you are able to learn to withdraw from the mind and senses and its distractions. So our body itself is designed that you are slowly getting old and you are unable to digest food. So your intake should come down, and that should help you to also withdraw in your mind. Many old people say, Swami, I am not able to eat anything, I am not able to sleep. I said, that is how it is supposed to be at your age. You are not supposed to eat, you are not supposed to sleep like a baby. You are supposed to meditate. You are supposed to meditate most of the time and eat 1 time. That's enough. But they want to eat 4 times like they were eating when they were young and sleep 8 hours like they were sleeping when they were young. And then they think we have some disease. Old age is a disease, if you think that way. But it is not a disease, it is a natural plan, design of the nature to help you withdraw. But at the last fag end also you want to taste, touch, smell, touch, enjoy. It is not right. So body is designed, our Ashtama dharmas are designed very naturally, you can withdraw from the world. So why I am explaining this, our medicine is so spiritual in nature and understands how nature works. So sama dosha, sama agnischa, sama dhatu it is. There are 7 types of constituting elements in the body. 7 things that compose or make our body. These are called dhatu, the basic elements, dhatu. And they also should be in good balance. And what are the 7 dhatus? We say dhatus are rasa, this is plasma, blood plasma, rakta, which is the blood. One is platelets and one is blood. Then mansa, which is the flesh, that is the muscles. Meda, which is the fat. Asthi, bone. Majja, marrow. And shukra, recreational, what you call genital fluids, whether it is semen or ovary or eggs, whichever male or female. So these are the 7 types of things which make our body, with which we function. The plasma, the blood, the flesh, the fat, the bone, the marrow, and the seminal fluids. These are the things we must, if there is an imbalance in these 7 also, it leads to disease. You know that when white blood cells come down, your immunity is gone. So you have to, platelets come down during infections. So we give platelet infusions, blood infusions. Marrow, many people suffer with bone marrow disorders, cancers. That has to be replaced then. Similarly, bone diseases, arthritis and so many other degenerative ones are there. Knee replacement all the time we keep doing. Similarly, diseases in the flesh, which is infection and wounds that cause rotting of the flesh, then that has to be corrected. Then fat related diseases, excess fat also leads to blockage of arteries because of extra cholesterol. Or if you don't have enough fat, that also leads to diseases. Falling sick too often, you have no energy. So that balance. And then seminal fluids, of course, many people have suffered with infertility. A lot of people are unable to give birth because of infertility issues. It's increasing day by day. It's all because of lifestyle. Stress, lifestyle, not having healthy habits. That's it. So these are the reasons. That's why all these 7 also have to be maintained. The plasma, the blood, the flesh, the fat, the bone, marrow, and the seminal fluids. All these have to be in balance. These are the physical aspects of health as per the Ayurveda. And the last part is malakriya. And your excretory or function should be very good. If body is not able to excrete, not able to remove the waste either from the urine or the feces, that also will lead to diseases. Everybody knows that. Kidney related issues, bladder related issues, that lead to so many diseases. Once the kidney function stops, the whole body shuts down because toxins build up and that is poison. So our body needs to remove whatever needs to be removed. Similarly, your stools and feces are so careless as human beings, especially after the advent of modern medicine. We become even more careless. We think even if we fall sick, we'll go to the doctor and get some medicine, we'll get cured. But we don't want to change our habits. We don't mind falling sick, spending and then regaining the health, but we don't want to change our habits. Look at what we have done to ourselves. So these are the basic things. First line says samadoshas, samagnisha, samadhatu, malakriyaha. Means all your doshas, water, air and fire should be good. Your digestive fire should be good. Then you should have 7 of these dhatus which make you the plasma, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow and the seminal fluid. They should be in order, doing properly their functions. Then your excretory organs should be working well because the removal of waste from the body is very important. Urine and feces. When this happens, you are physically fit. Then what else is required? The second shloka says, Prasannatmaindriya manaha swastha ityavidiyate. Your atma, mana and indriya, all 3 should be happy. Indriya should be happy means they are seeing the right things. So they are happy and satisfied. If you see wrong things, indriya become restless. Happiness is steady state. Yesterday we know true happiness is being in a steady state of existence, not fluctuating. Happiness doesn't mean you are excited. Excitement is not happiness. Happiness is the steady sukha, steady state. Sukhasana we say when we do pranayama or whatever yoga. In a comfortable state. What is the comfort? No fluctuations is comfort. So it says prasanna atma indriya manaha. Your spirit, the soul, the jivatma, the mind which is full of thoughts and emotions, and your indriyas, the sense organs, all these should be in a state of peace and happiness. Then what else happens? Then he says swastha. Then if you are in this kind of balanced state of your dhatu, agni, doshas, malakriya and atma indriya manaha, when all these are completely in good state, then only you are called as a healthy person. Go by this definition, how many are healthy in this room, you check. Nobody is healthy. If not physically unhealthy, mentally they're unhealthy. Or they're not happy within themselves, something is bothering them, something is worries them, something is their desires of something they angers them. How are you healthy? So our scriptures don't recognize you as a healthy person by your blood test and lab tests. Unless your mind is also at peace, your organs are at peace, that is, none of this is suffering, all are in happy state. And within your spirit, you are joyful. Then only you are called as completely healthy. Imagine what a wonderful definition. Even the WHO or the medical books, nobody has this definition. This definition from Sushruta. That is when you should be healthy. That is why we recognize in our institution, you are not just the body, you are a mind also. Mind also has to be in good state, and not just the mind, your spirit. That inner feeling that you have, joyful feeling, that should be there in you. So the idea is that how amazing is our understanding of how human body, mind and spirit works. So why I define is that because here uses the word swasthya. We are opening Sai Swasthya clinics everywhere. Now please get it right. It is Swasthya clinics. Some people are calling it Swasthya clinics. Some people are calling Swastha clinics. It is Swasthya. Swasthya clinics. Okay, the idea is wellness. We called it as wellness centers. We didn't call it as health centers or clinics or medical centers. We didn't call. On purpose, we have named those centers as wellness centers, where we can look after all these aspects, not just the physiological aspects, but your mental and spiritual aspects also can be looked after. So that is the idea of swasthya. So Janaka says, I am happy and healthy, not just physically healthy, mentally healthy, but I am established in my spirit. I am joyful. I have no pain, because if joy is not there in your spirit, you are not healthy. That's the basic definition. Are you joyful? Yes, then you are healthy spiritually. He says, Yatha Sukham, I am joyful. I am peaceful. I am equanimous. Therefore, I am healthy. I am established in myself. So, a doctor, when he looks at the patient, must look at all the aspects. See, physical aspects, of course, the treatments are done. Mental aspect, counseling is done, psychotherapy is done, and nice environment of the hospital. Nurses talk to them nicely, lovingly. Doctors treat them with like a family. That adds to the mental well-being for the patient. What about the spiritual well-being? The very environment in which the patients are. It's full of devotion. It's full of spiritual energy. And people treat patients as gods. I said, Rogi Narayano Harid here. And the patients who have some faith in some God, let us say in Jesus or Buddha or Nanak or Allah, I do not care. When they come here, they think their God whom they prayed to has responded by giving them free healthcare over here. How many people have told this? I prayed to Allah that my child should be delivered properly, I shouldn't have any complication, and I found this hospital, everything was taken care of, Allah has blessed me. What did you do? You have reinforced the spiritual health in that person. That is the idea of this hospital, how it is really addressing holistic health issue. No other hospital addresses that. At best, they'll address the physical part of it. They try to correct it through medication, surgeries and all. Maybe some diet and nutrition advice, but we have a huge dietetics department. Like that, you look at the other aspects. Mental aspects are taken care. No worries here. They know the doctor is not going to cheat. The nurse is not going to fleece them. Nobody is after their money. Nobody is going to do harm to them. Do no harm is the first principle of medicine. That is what we first start with. No harm, physically, mentally, financial harm, social harm, no harm. No discrimination. They're accepted. Mental health, no worries, no when, how to pay the bills, how much will be the bill, no cost, no worry. And then spiritual health, because their faith in their own God, whichever God they believed in, gets reinforced, and they become joyful, calm. They become established in that peaceful state. So our hospitals alone are addressing health holistically. The second shloka is 13.2. Kutrapi khedah kayasya jihva kutrapi khidyate manah kutrapi tat tyaktva purusharthe stitah sukham. It says, kutrapi khedah kayasya. When is the time in our life when body is not desirous of things and then gets tired of things? Kheda means some kind of a remorse, regret, distress, or trouble. When is the time in our life when body is always happy, healthy and has no problem at all? Never. Someday some problem keeps coming to this body. It's a part of life. It keeps running behind desires. I want to eat this, I want to do, then you have sugar, then you have cholesterol, then you have this. This is a part of life. This I have seen. Kutrapi. When is the time, where is the place when the body is perfect? Never. It always, if nothing else is happening, you are aging. Age brings its own related issues. So body is a part of this thing. I have noticed that. Then what else? Jihva kutrapi khijjate. Jihva, the tongue. It wants to taste and also speak. These are the two troubles of the tongue. Actually, if you control tongue, you can control everything they say. Jivagre Vasde Lakshmi, Jivagre Mitra Bandhava, Swami used to say. On the tip of your tongue resides Lakshmi, means if you speak well, you will earn wealth. Jivagre Mitra Bandhava, on the tip of your tongue, your friends and relations live. It means if you speak well, you will have good friends and relations. On the tongue, so everything depends. So that is why he says that when is the time when the tongue was not desirous and troubling you? I want to eat this, I want to speak this. Unnecessary spoke, troubled everybody. Last chapter he says, no, how many horrible things I have done with this body and tongue and mind. So again repetition. When was this body, when was the time when this body was peaceful, you tell me. Someday or the other, some problem or other keeps coming. Then when was the time when this tongue was at peace? Always wants to speak unnecessarily, gossip, rumor mongering, lying, and saying hard things, harsh things, maybe sometimes good things. But tongue has also given me a lot of trouble. When was the time the tongue was not giving trouble? Then he says, Mana kutrapi. And when was the time when mind was not giving trouble? It cannot sit in one place in one time, keeps thinking of some past or future, keeps worrying about what happened or regrets. When was the time when mind was also at peace? It was always distressed. This is the nature of body, mind, and tongue. They are always like that. They keep pulling you in all directions. So, tat tyaktva purusharthe sthita sukham. I have given up my desire for pleasing my body and tongue and the mind. Because there is no end to their desires and the troubles that come with those desires. I have stopped pleasing them. And Purushartha also he says, for the Purushartha we put body, mind and speech to work. What are the Purusharthas? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are Purusharthas. Dharma means righteous living, Artha means righteous earning, Kama means righteous desires, and Moksha means final liberation. For the sake of these four only I have put my body, tongue and mind to work. All this life. My body was made to work so that I can earn, I can gain something, have children, raise a family, why fight a war, what not, and enjoy the pleasures of senses. I put my body to all these things. Tongue I have put to some so many things. I am a king, obviously I have given verdicts and pronounced judgments and called people what they are and things like that. Sometimes lies have happened. So many things. But for what sakes? For the sake of earning money, for the sake of ruling the kingdom. I used my tongue in so many ways. In mind also I have thought, planned, strategized a war, how to kill the enemy, how to gain more wealth, how to run the kingdom. How much I have done with all these things. For what sakes? Purusharthe. For the sake of attaining dharma, artha, kama. And even moksha is saying. She is included. For moksha's sake what I have done? I have done yajna, yagas and tirtha yatras and dana and punya and God knows what all I have done in the name of attaining moksha. But when was the time that I was at peace doing all these things? Never. I was always restless. I was always disturbed. I was always distressed because of body, tongue and mind which was being used to attain the dharma, artha, kama, moksha. I was always restless. Finally I have given up. I have given up all this and says what? Sthita sukham. Tat tyaktva sthita sukham. Given up all these ideas and now I am happy. Otherwise, how much we strain ourselves to earn a little extra bucks to make another good friend or enemy, win somebody's heart and love, and to raise children and make them some decent beings, to deal with your businesses and enemies and neighbors and politics and how much we have strained ourselves, he says. And even those who know, who give up everything, shave off their head and tie a langot and go off to Himalayas in the name of attaining moksha. How much we have tortured ourselves. I have understood, I am done with all this. Sthita sukham, I have become happy and established. So you may ask, so what should dharma, artha, kama, moksha should we not follow? You only are telling follow everything. Follow, but with what attitude is the question I am asking. Attitude of doing and gaining and enjoying, and that is not there. Yadayat kartumayati. As it comes, you are doing. You are a student, your duty is to behave well like a student. You study what is taught and give your very best. That's it, period. No, I am student because I have to then get one first rank, and after first rank I am going to go to the another country and do this, and after that I'll get another big job. No need of all this. Student's job is to learn, not earn, not to think about earning. Think about learning. Satisfy that curiosity in you of intellectual curiosity, that is fine. And also learn morals of life, because that will help you in the future. That's why our education system has both academic as well as spiritual knowledge, because it teaches you both intellectual as well as the spiritual thoughts. Both are required to balance yourself in life. So many students are very intelligent, brilliant. A little distraction or a little failure or setback, they commit suicide. They can't handle one situation like this of a failure. Why? Because no spiritual and moral inputs. Immorality is, you don't know how much it is in the society. So much of immorality. Spirituality doesn't exist at all. And these students cannot withstand small setbacks and shakes in life. So spiritual knowledge. So student life you enjoy like that. Don't get into other nonsense. Then you come to the next life. Grasta life is there. You have to earn wealth. Yes, you have to raise a family, earn wealth, take care of your friends and family. That's enough. Accumulating wealth mindlessly, aimlessly, cutting corners, lying, cheating, defrauding, that is not necessary. Then kama desires. What kind of desires? Desires have no end. Desires which are correct, moral, spiritual, and good for everybody, fine, it's agreed upon. Beyond that, mindlessly you desire this, that, everything I want under the sky. How much strain we put our body, mind, and speech for these things? That's what he's saying. And even for moksha, he's saying. For moksha also, we run away from society, tie a copin cloth, and try to attain God, torturing our body by not feeding it, not taking care of it, and think that we are become spiritual. Absolute nonsense is what he's saying. But I was also a part of it, he agrees. Like this, I've done all this and I've understood what this was nonsense. I shouldn't have, I need not have. I should have changed my attitude towards things and everything would have been okay. But today I've changed. I'm not going to anymore put my body or tongue or mind to such torture for the sake of attaining dharma, artha, kama, moksha and all that thing. I'm not running behind anything anymore. I am established in the self, I'm happy. Let things happen as they are supposed to happen. As long as I follow the principles right, that I am divine and I must behave accordingly, everything is fine. Whether you're in a student life or a married life or a monk life or a renunciate life, as long as you believe you're divine and you behave accordingly, everything will be right. The moment we forget that we are divine, that's where all the confusion begins, right? Then we think I am so and so, I am son of so and so, I am supposed to be earning so much, I am supposed to be respected, I am supposed to be recognized. All the problem starts from then. You torture your body, mind and tongue for fulfilling all those. So he says, when was the time when I did not do all this nonsense? I have done. Now I have realized. And I always justified it also by saying, no, it is as per the scripture, for dharma, artha, kama, moksha only I am working. But no, deep under, your desire for yourself, your ambitions, your attachments made you work. And this wrong notion that you are the body and not the self, that has made you work. So I have given up all these things, even for the sake of Purushartha. If it says do this, do that, you will attain moksha. If you donate this much to this temple, if you go on a pilgrimage like this, if you climb up that mountain and do this puja, or stand on one leg, chant these many mantras, I would only say thank you very much for your advice. I don't need it. Because I have understood these are all not real. So these all are things that I have gotten over, and now I am very happy, established in myself. Now just imagine the state of Janaka. One should feel really, I don't know, if you don't know that state, then you should feel horrible that you don't know that state still. What is this stuck in this mind, body, wife, children, wealth, position, power, ambition, this plan, this desire, that desire. Bah, enough is enough. That's what Janaka is saying. Somebody who doesn't live like that must be miserable according to Janaka, because I am happy only after not being like them. So I am so interested in, one side I am interested in your spiritual health at this end of the spectrum. Another side I am also interested in your physical and mental health in between. Because without that you cannot attain God.